One. What up? What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. Before we start off the show, as we normally do, and thank you for everyone for checking out to the podcast. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Obviously, some devastating news that happened yesterday. In Minnesota, ICE agent shot an innocent 37-year-old woman. I mean, it's obviously the videos out there. I'm sorry, Champ. If you could, Champ or BRF, if y'all could send me the name of the person.
I already know it. You want me to send it? I mean, I can say it here, but I already know. I know the name.
You can say it. You can say it.
Yeah, it's her name is It came out of Renee Nicole Good. That was
Yes.
the lady's name that was shot.
Shot and killed at the age of 37 years old. She was unalived. She leaves away her three children, mother, three children, and I really hate to talk about this. I wish we could just talk about like we normally talk about, but enough. This is enough. Inexcusable. Just looking at the video, just looking at the full video, I don't know what else you want me to say. And Champ, you mentioned we had conversations. The FBI regarding the investigation, they're planning on stopping it.
They're stalling the investigation right now, and this isn't the first shooting
You told me
happening
last
right?
year.
So last year in Los Angeles as well. So it's been a journey. We'll put it that way. It's been a journey, and you know, as a former law enforcement guy myself, everybody knows. It's no secret to anybody. I used to be a military police officer, but we got to work on ROE, rules of engagement, and engaging people like we're supposed to. Because that's a bad look when the first step that you take is in order to fire that weapon. You got to work on your rules of engagement, your escalation of force, because there's no way that the optics are everything. Optics are everything, and when you look at the video, it doesn't look like you're in fear of anything. It looks like you're just trying to assert your authority. So a lot of fellow law enforcement, we got to do a better job of treating the people right, because at the end of the day, we're here to provide a service to the people. We're not here for ourselves. We're not here to power trip. We're here to provide a service to the people. And when you're not doing that, that's a bad look. You set up not only the present guys for failure, but the future guys for failure. So got to do a better job of that, and waiting on more details to come out about it, because as you all know, there's always a lot of things beneath the surface, but there is a lot to be desired when it comes to dealing with a lot of things within our country, and we got to do a better job. I mean, a lot of things shouldn't happen, and I'm doing my best to kind of like navigate this the best way I can, but a lot of things should not happen. We shouldn't be having, every time you look around, a shooting when it comes to a law enforcement officer. It used to be where that was the very last resort. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. We all watched Cops for years, and we only saw one incident. We'd watched Cops on television for years, and there was only one incident where somebody had their life taken. Now we're seeing that on the norm, and it's got to be a point where we have to do some reform. It's got to be a point where we have to look at ourselves and look who we are taking in as applicants. Because guess what? Everybody's not built to be that. That is something where you have a lot of power over people, over community, and over yourself. And if you've misused that power, like I stated, that destroys the biggest thing that you can have is community law enforcement relations. When you don't have the people, you really don't have a lot. So got to work on that, man. And you got to make sure. And for all you reporters out there who are saying outlandish stuff, keep in mind that you're a journalist, and keep in mind that you have a family, and keep in mind that you yourself can be in that situation in a heartbeat. So be mindful of your words. Be mindful of your words, because you can put something out there in God's green earth and life will humble you real, real quick. So be mindful of your words, especially if you're in the media at this point. Be mindful of your words, no matter what side you're on. Be mindful of your words. This was a life that was taken. If you look at the optics, it doesn't look very, very good. And it seems like every attempt to investigate and every attempt in order for us to say something about it is being stonewalled. So a lot of things have to change. And like I stated, this wasn't just, this is a high profile case because, it's involving ICE. But as we was talking about last year and, all during COVID with the George Floyd situation, God rest his soul, we were seeing this every single day during the COVID years, which was 2020 to 2024. And it became the norm. And now it seems like it's just coming back to that. So we got to do a better job.
Big fella, I'm sorry. We should do a better job. We should have been doing a better job a hell of a long time ago. And I understand you don't want to go that route, and because I know you're a fair-minded man, but I must. As the Minnesota mayor said it, I can get the fuck up out of here. This is inexcusable. I'm just looking at the video. People tell me that it's better to see it than hear it. It's better to see it than to read it or hear it. The video captures it all. What excuse? She flee. Even if she fled, you could have just ran the license plate. You could just figure out a different way than to shoot her. What threat does she have? A 37-year-old woman in her car. She's scared as hell. And you shoot her? Like nothing? And you mentioned certain reporters, Champ, to their to the comments. Bullshit. When is it enough? And I'm sorry, this current regime that we're in is just getting absolutely outrageous. I know you don't want to go there, big fella, but I must. I'm getting sick of it. And what excuse? What excuse do you have for this regime? What justification do you have for this regime? Tell me, what are you going to say with a straight face? These actions are justifiable. President Trump hasn't done really that bad of a job. Really? I just want somebody to tell me with a straight face, how's this Trump's fault? Any way, shape, or form? Enough. We keep saying we got to do a better job. We got to do a better. And I'm not referring to you, Champ. I just want to make it clear.
Good.
When is it enough? If you're confronting someone, isn't the law say protect and serve and honor? This video, this ain't it. And what we're seeing in this country, this is not it. Inexcusable. As the mayor of Minnesota said, ICE needs to get the fuck up out of here. Because anyone who tries to sit here and tries to excuse or justify this, miss me with that bullshit. A young woman was murdered. For what? BRF?
It's honestly, for better or for worse, it's a joke. I mean, it is. It's a joke. Like, you would think like a presidential regime of any kind would want to do some due diligence and have just any amount of common sense to understand what's going on in our nation today and understand that a lot of the violence that's been going on is violence that you've, for better or worse terms, you've instigated. And it's like you show no remorse. Like, even in his True Social post where he's talking about this woman being a professional agitator. I mean, a professional agitator. Like, what gives you the absolute right to talk about a mother like that? Had 3 kids. They have to go the rest of their lives without their mom. And you're sitting here for the world to see, calling their mom a professional agitator. They might not know better now, but when they grow up and they go back and they see that, they're going to remember that. And if you're still alive by then, when they can grow up and they can fully understand the ramifications of what you said, I hope every single one of them lights you up. Like, just speak their piece, because you and people defend, like, even people who shouldn't be justifying this action have talking about, oh, this was a justified shooting. It just shouldn't have happened. I'm like, if it shouldn't have happened, it's not justified. How do you how do you collaborate the two in that? How do you bring them together? How do you do that? And it's a shame where we're at in a country, how desensitized we are to the violence that's going on, that we look at another shooting and it's like it's like half of the people completely want to be sympathetic and empathetic to those kids because they got to go the rest of their lives without their mom. And then you got one side that's, defending ICE, defending the dude that shot her. Oh, and by the way, just so y'all know, his name is out. So I'm not going to say it here, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Internet, his name is out. Do your thing. You know what you need to do. Do your thing, because homeboy deserves every bit of vitriol, every bit of hate, every bit of anger. I'm talking about, do not be nice to this man one iota. You let him know how you feel in any way, shape, or form that you need to get it out. Because I'm tired of this myself. I'm tired of this as well. It's a shame how desensitized we are to violence in this nation. The fact that we still talk about the school shootings, the mass shootings, like people who are supposed to be law enforcement, all they are. I'm trying to word this the best way I can. They are
Enforcers.
they are a bunch of they're power hungry assholes. That's what they are. It's like you found the most trigger happy people you could have found. You put a little power in their hands, and now they just think they're on top of the world, that they're untouchable, that they're invincible. And you don't want to say nothing like one of them, one of these days are going to get checked. But it feels like it's going to get to that point. And it doesn't need to be that. But these agents are going to run across the wrong group of people at the rate they're going. Because I'm sorry, at the end of the day, people want to talk about the Second Amendment and how the Second Amendment was created for a militia against a tyrannical government. That's why the Second Amendment was created. Not just because I got the right to own my shotguns and my AK-47s and my Glocks and all this other stuff. No, the Second Amendment honestly was not created for us in the sense of just being able to just tote wherever you want. The Second Amendment was created in case our government is doing some crap like they're doing right now. And if we need to protect ourselves, we let it loose and can't nothing happen to us. That's what the Second Amendment was created for. And just all these misconceptions and all these games. That's what this regime has done. They think it's nothing but a game to them. And at some point, we as people got to understand, whether you on one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle, at the end of the day, this government is not in it for you. Especially those on the right side who just think they're just all, they all look out for them. I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. When y'all realize they don't care about your personal interest no more than anybody else, hopefully you grow a brain and you go from there. But I don't know. I highly doubt it at this point. If you defended this man up to this point, unless you're some people, I don't see you stopping. So it's just it's a sham. It's a travesty, and just so many prayers and so many condolences. to that woman's kids and family and loved ones. But honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of throwing out condolences and prayers. I'm sick and tired of this. Something got to be done.
Go ahead, champ.
You know, piggybacking on what BRF said, we had that discussion before off the record. You know, we've had that discussion before. But isn't it very ironic that certain people, I will say, because to the great words of Chuck D, I dare not mention this name because I'm not finna make you even more famous than you don't need to be. Hey, we'll call him the New Jersey General. And those of you who know the NFL, the USFL, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Isn't it quite ironic that this woman was called a professional agitator 6 years almost to the day after the insurrection?
Facts.
6 days. Y'all, I hope nobody noticed. I hope nobody did not notice that it was 1 day after the 6-year anniversary of the insurrection. And then you hear a bunch of tone deaf people, I would say, talk about the lady who passed away during the insurrection, talking about say her name. Say her name for what? Really? You walk into the Capitol building and get your ass pew-pewed when you had no business in there in the first place. And then we supposed to say your name? No. But this lady who was protesting, it's quite ironic that insurrectionists get pardoned and protesters get shot. I'm starting to see, I'm not a man of, optics. I'm a man of patterns. I recognize patterns everywhere I go. So, it's very, very, and now it's crossed the lines. It's not just black protesters getting shot.
Whites. And that
So
woman who
white
was killed, that was a white woman, for those who may not
Exactly.
know. So
Facts.
It's not just one group getting shot anymore. So when are we gonna wake up and start and protest? Look, but this paying. Look, look. The country was built on damn protest.
it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to
supposed
shock
to
your very conscience.
And since
Exactly.
y'all love quoting the great Martin Luther King, everybody loves to quote the great Martin Luther King when they say the contents of our character. Let me break some down to you what he said also. He said, and I quote, a scheduled protest is a glorified parade. Let me say that again. A scheduled protest is a glorified parade. All right? So, number one, I need y'all to stop doing this. Number one, be responsible with y'all write. Number one. Number two, call
And what
wrong
you
out
say.
where it is.
And what you
Call
say.
wrong.
And what you say, because otherwise you know what that could lead you to.
Exactly. So, and stop trying to glorify dumbness. Like, call everything what you see. Call it like we see it. Call it like we see it. And stop misquote. Look, and one thing that grinds my doggone gears. I'm trying not to curse in this segment. And one thing that grinds my gears, stop quoting Martin Luther King if you can't get every damn thing right about it.
I would personally prefer personally prefer if you not quote
Stop
anybody.
quoting Martin Luther King. Because guess what? Saying he said the contents of your character. You can't say shit about character if you ain't got none.
Facts.
Thank you.
So that's number one.
Thank you.
And that's not the only damn thing that he said. So stop look, you remind me of people who try to pick out the Bible and try to nitpick and things like that. Guess what? Stop cherry picking, what we used to call it in the orange. Stop cherry picking. Say everything he said. Don't come in here and piss on my head and tell me it's raining.
Exactly.
I love saying that because guess what? There's a lot that's piss. That's not rain. That ain't water. So let's stop with this nonsense. Stop saying, because guess what? For you to walk up on the car and you to have somebody right in there, only thing you had to do is snatch out the damn car. Or something like that. Or either got to look.
Ran the license plates. You could have done something else to
exactly. Look,
you could have figured.
You know what? They ain't worth that. Get the license plates. We'll arrest her later.
You could have come up with. I'm sorry, champ, but you could have come up with a numerous amount of solutions. And BRF, you mentioned the tweet from our current president. I am not all surprised nor shocked at all, because this is the same man who had no conscience. Not a soul after the death of Rob Reiner. I'm sure y'all saw or read that tweet.
Exactly.
So he is exactly who he is. There's nothing more that I need to say, but
Nothing
enough.
nothing at this point. There's nothing at this point that's gonna like.
No, what I have a problem with, the blindest person in the world is the one who can't see but chooses not to see. You see this. Don't tell me you ain't, like you said, champ. Don't tell me it's raining in like you said.
Don't piss on my head. Like I said, man.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me like.
Look,
I'm sorry.
If we're gonna sit around here, I'm sorry, PSP. Look, we're 6 years removed from that damn insurrection. Let's just be real. And I'm gonna be all the way 100, and I'll get fined for it later. I'm just being real. We see motherfuckers get shot for less than walk into a Capitol building.
Exactly.
We've seen people get shot for less. We've seen people get shot for being on the sidewalk protesting. We saw people get shot protesting being left in Katrina, but they were starving. So we've seen people get shot for less. So for years later, somebody to get shot because, oh yeah, it's really getting weird to me, because guess what? Now you're shooting women. And it's just like, it's getting old at this point. And this ain't the first woman that you've shot. Remember, the lady in her home, she said, I rebuke thee in the name of Jesus. He got so damn heated, shot the damn lady right in the damn face.
Let's not forget Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, broke into her damn house. And let's not forget about the damn dude, I forget the man's name. He was sitting in his apartment eating ice cream, broke into his damn house and shot it. And then the damn judge hugged the damn neck. That's why I hate talking about shit like this, because you got to relive it over and over and over and over. You broke into some damn body. We got people around here breaking in people's fucking houses and shooting them in the back of the head and only getting 7 years.
Exactly.
You broke into my damn house. Anybody else on the streets do that? That's their ass. Their ass is grass. And the law is the lawnmower. Let's just be real. If you would prosecute a regular person for this stuff, then we need to prosecute everybody for it. And look, I'm going to just be real. If a super incident happens, I'm not going to say what incident that might be. If a super incident happens where you walk into the wrong neighborhood and something goes super wrong with them agents, then hey, look, you got to be careful. I'm going to just be real, because we're on the brink of that at this point. Because the thing is, it's not just about the people's safety. It's about their safety too. It's about, look, we were always taught when we were soldiers, man, be cautious when you're walking into these neighborhoods, when you're walking amongst the people. Be careful not to try to intimidate them. Don't be trying to flex your weight, because you can get them hurt and you can get yourself hurt. That's the thing. And the last thing that we need is for one big incident to occur and just turn the country on its heel. And at this point, I feel like it's either war or bust. At this point, it's either war or bust. I feel like that everybody knows that every damn thing is just going to hell at this point, and they just determined to start a war, whether it be an abroad war or a civil war. And it's just like every time one of these guys is in office, seems like a war soon to follow. Bush Sr., Bush Jr., now Trump. There's a pattern there. There's a pattern there. There's a pattern there.
But are we surprised, champ? No,
I'm just saying.
No.
Every regime that it was always the other side. Bush Sr., war. Bush Jr., war.
War.
This guy, the New Jersey General, war. There's a pattern there. Y'all don't get the gimmick yet.
Apparently they haven't,
So,
which is the
hey,
bigger irony. And champ, the only way for, as Ben Franklin put it, there can be no justice until people who are unaffected are as equally outraged as those who are. And unfortunately, this stuff is not going to go away, and unfortunately, it's going to keep on continuing. And it's just enough. This is not. This is not the way we wanted to start off the new year. 2026. We were anticipating for great things, and we're still gonna do great things. But this right here is inevitable. And with this regime, and with so many things that is transpiring in this country, and for people who continuously defend him, his rhetoric, his nonsense, his bullshit, what does that say about you? I'm so sick and tired of people coming to Trump's defense. And how can anybody with sense that can justify or excuse that tweet? It's looking shit. It's looking so bad for Donald Trump. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene has even come out against him. And we know about Marjorie Taylor Greene's past.
Exactly.
So
Especially
for
us,
her
like,
of all people, to go on The View, to go on CNN, to be saying this stuff about the president. Now, again, I still have to look at her with a side eye. But at the same time, lately,
hey, when it's kind of like,
no, you said
if
yourself, big fella.
everybody ain't lying. It's kind of like when you tell me, it's one thing when the world is telling me I'm doing something wrong. With PSP and BRF saying, hey, champ, you messing up, bro. Might be time to revisit what you're doing. I know. Might be time to revisit what you're doing.
Look,
I don't know I don't know what's going on anymore. It feels like it's like I don't know anymore. It seems like it's this level of uncertainty. Kids can't. People talk about birth rates and stuff like this. People like me, I'm scared to have children. I don't want them coming into this world. This is a world that I never thought I would see. I never thought I would see. I literally am afraid to bring a kid into this world.
I'm afraid of bringing a child to school.
This is a world where a lot of bullshit is glorified where it shouldn't be. I'm talking about things on the most disgustingest level. You got public officials saying stop hunting down and stop shaming certain groups of cats. And I'm not talking, the P3DOs and all that shit. It's getting disgusting. You want us to stop shaming P3DOs? So talk about children here. And this is a politician who fucking said this.
That's saying something.
So,
Because how politicians are. So for a politician of all people to say that about children, essentially, if you're a parent that has kids, essentially, what does it say?
We need to bring back shaming. I don't care what anybody says. When we down south used to say you ought to be ashamed of yourself, that meant something. And I'm not talking about shaming to bully people. I'm talking about shaming to show people, hey, that's not what the fuck you're supposed to be doing, you idiot. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. And until we get to the point where consequence equals action, it's gonna stay that way. It's creating, look, to quote the great Joe Clark from Lean On Me, discipline is not the enemy of enthusiasm. Discipline is not the enemy of enthusiasm. And if you have no discipline in the workplace, especially when you're dealing with, people, when you're dealing with guns, you're dealing with people out here, you can get yourself killed or your comrades killed. You need to be very, very disciplined. And if that was a soldier, look, when we was overseas, they said, do not fire that weapon. If you fire that weapon without clear threat, and it's not inconclusive that you yourself were in danger, guess what? Guess where you're going? You're going to Leavenworth for the next 15 years. And they did that with soldiers when we was overseas. They told you, hey, you fire that weapon so much as one time without having clear positive idea of what you're firing at, and you accidentally hit somebody, you hit a civilian, you hit somebody, and you don't have clear positive ID, or you escalate your force too quickly or too soon, you're going to Leavenworth. And until we develop that mentality again where consequence is just as strong as the action, it's going to continue to happen. Consequence. And guess what? Look, you got to take yourself and put you in that situation. What if it was your mom? What if it was your sister? What if it was your grandma, your auntie? Think about all of that, man. Like I said, I'll say this from a standpoint. I used to be a military police officer. I was trained by some of the best guys in the world. Some of the guys are officers or retired police officers in the civilian world right now. So it's called situational awareness. All that getting out the car like you damn Snake from Metal Gear Solid. What are you doing? You're gonna get yourself killed. Or somebody killed in this case. It's gotta stop, man. And we gotta start looking at these guys who are making we gotta start even in the army, for certain jobs, you get a psyche valve to make sure that you are mentally equipped in order to handle the job. So it gets old, and sometimes I hate talking about these topics because, yeah, guess what? I used to be in those situations
Well, big
where, situational awareness was key, where you had to be careful, where you had to think before you act. You just couldn't go around here being trigger happy. No, you had to really look around, see what's going on, get positive ID. Hey, is my comrades okay? Is everybody around me okay? Am I putting people in danger? Am I scaring people? Am I doing more harm than good? You had to make that in a split second. So for the things to be happening now and people to be justifying those things is crazy. And that's like I'm on like dealing with a lot of the subjects that come up today because, like I said, I've lived through those. I've been taught by that. Even when I walk into a building, you look and look around, pay attention, especially when you have other people's lives in your hands. So it's disgusting to me. I'm tired of it, and it's a disgrace.
it is.
You're not. These guys, they walk around here with their chest out, and it's disgusting.
Big fella, look, I know you didn't want to talk about this, but unfortunately, I had to. Because if I didn't, I'd be doing us, the audience, a disservice. And you always told me we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because again, these are subjects I wish we, of all the subjects, this is the last one I would not want to talk about. But when it's involving the world and society, I mean, I can't just sit back there and pretend like nothing didn't happen. It's just disgraceful. It's inexcusable where we are as a society in this world. And it's just enough. What are we going to hear next? We're going to hear another shooting? Another school shooting? Regarding kids? Do we really want that again? We want to hear another tragedy or travesty? Because with the rate that we're going, nowhere to go but worse. And it's just a damn shame when people who continue to justify or excuse this behavior, that tells me you have no soul. It really does. You really don't care because it's not affecting you. But suddenly you'll start to change once it does affect you. Not saying I wish that upon anyone, But what's it going to take for people to understand and realize we need to make change? It's really devastating, really heartbroken to what happened. Before we start off the show real quick, let's just have a quick moment of silence. Thank you. This is I just hope for us and for we just get better after this. We just have to grow. We just have to get better as a society. Renee Nicole Good, the woman who was shot by the ICE officer, only 37 years old.